Welcome to Tesco's in the middle of Glastonbury. We've got a lovely, nice, clean site, which is unusual on top of a roof, I'm not going to lie to you. And we're going to look at the air handling units and the Mr. Slim units working with them. I'm going to take you through the wiring, how the controls work, how all the install actually comes together. Thank you. At the back of the air handling unit, we're going to stick our nose into here and have a look at the air inlet side. We'll have a look at the filters and what they're actually done with the coil and the setup with the thermistors. Got the pipework going from the Mr. Slim unit, so we've got 6 of them here coming into this interlaced coil. So the whole of the air handling unit is going to be working as one. So all those units are going to be working together. You have a look there. You can see you've got the liquid lines and the vapor lines. That's the top part of the coil. And we've got further ones further down. And in idea, that's not actually a liquid line. In idea, it's actually an expansion line. So we've got a mixture of liquid and vapor because the expansion device is in the outdoor unit. And we're measuring that temperature of the refrigerant coming into the coil, and that's being fed back to the pack IF. And same on the actual refrigerant coming back, so that way we've got an idea of the temperature of the refrigerant going on and off the coil. Now in this particular application, what they're actually doing is they're measuring a common temperature. So if we have a look inside the actual unit, you'll see that it's actually measuring the supply air temperature onto the actual coil itself. So that's the way we're controlling that. Again, that information is being fed back to the pack IF. This particular one, say, is made up of 6 coils there. So you see there's a top coil, top set of coils there, got 2 there, 2 sets of coils down here, and the bottom set of coils there, so they've interlaced it. The AHU coil design is critical for how these units work. We've got AHU guidance documentation. I'm showing a little bit of that just beside me. And getting that pipe size correct, getting the volume within that coil spot on, and getting the airflow correct, for this all to work together is really important. So make sure that's nailed. If you're not too sure, you can always give Mitsubishi Electric a call and we can go through that coil design and make sure it's all going to work. So we've got the covers off the outdoor units. They've all been isolated and safely locked off. We're just going to go through that wiring side of things. These are 3-phase units. So we've got L1, L2, L3, neutral and earth already done. And we've got S1, S2 and S3. That's that interconnecting cable going between the outdoor unit and the pack IF. So S1 being your live, S2 being your neutral, S3 being your comms. The thing we need to do with the outdoor unit is do the addressing side. So on here, SW1, we need to change that to tell it this one here is actually unit 4, because we've got 6 units connected to this air handling unit, and this one's unit 4, just so the actual system knows what's going on and you can actually interrogate it on the control if need be. Inside the air handling unit, we've got the pack IFs. So before we got in here, I've isolated the outdoor units and the air handling unit, and we've carried out safe isolation, so everything's locked off. Take the covers off that particular pack IF, and what we're going to do is talk through what you're seeing there and what goes where. So we've got the wiring going from the outdoor unit to the pack IF, and we've got on there S1, which is my live, S2, which is my neutral, S3, which is comms, but S2 is also a negative neutral on the comms side. And underneath there, we've also got that earth connection there, so it's just belt and brace to make sure it's all being properly earthed, keeping it nice and safe. We're using out2 as an error output, and that's being fed back to the air handling unit controller. TH1 connection on the board, and that's my target temperature, so that's what it's actually going to be targeting. So we've got TH2 here. So that's measuring the temperature of the refrigerant as it's about to go into the coil. So it's marked down as being liquid line. We know this is actually a mix of liquid and vapor because the expansion valve is at the outdoor unit, but in theory, we're going to call that a liquid line. So that's where we're measuring that from. TH5. So this is measuring the temperature of the refrigerant at the other end of the coil to make sure it's definitely done its job. TH11. So this is telling me what the heat exchanger inlet temperature is expecting to see. So it's telling me what the air temperature going onto the coil is. Connection onto TB61, connections 11 and 12. They've used this to control the overall duty. So they're using a 0 to 10 volt signal from the air handling unit controller, and we're feeding that through onto the actual pack IF. So we've set the dip switches on there to tell it is working on a 0 to 10 volt signal. On the board we've got connections here marked as RC, so this is for the remote control. As we've got multiple air handling unit controllers here, we've got 2 sets of cables going there. We've got one set of cable going off to the actual remote control itself, and then the other one is actually daisy chaining across to the next pack IF, and then from that one onto the next, onto the next, onto the next, so they can all get controlled together. The dip switches on this pack IF have been set up so that it can work with the air handling unit control we've got here. So in this situation we're going to control the temperature and the mode and things like that, and where it's on and off all via the air handling unit controller. So the dip switches here have all been set to reflect that. That means the dip switches might be different on your site, so you just need to have a look at those and make sure they've been set up correctly. On top of the roof, everything's up and running. Everything's feeling good. So it's all been installed, commissioned, and it's all up and running now. So it's doing those last little checks, going around, have a bit of a nose around the site, make sure you're getting the airflow where you're expecting it, everything's working with the air handling unit, just dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So as you're aware here, I've got these 6 units here, we've got the other 6 units down the other end of the actual plant area, doing this 25,000 square foot Tesco store in Glastonbury. So thank you for joining me on this journey.